Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, students? Hope you all are fine and safe by the grace of Almighty Allah.
In this class, we are going to start the chapter Rocks and Soil. You will able to learn about the rocks, uses and types of rocks, and the materials made from the rocks, the hardness and permeability of the rocks, precious stones, and about the soil. Rocks are the natural hard objects they found in the nature. You may find rocks on the mountains, seashores, and in deserts. Our earth, they are also covered with rocks. Here is a diagram of the earth in which different layers of the earth has been shown. The first layer is called the crust, second one is called the mantle, third one is called the outer core, and the last one is called the inner core. The crust is made up of the rocks. The land on which we stand is covered with rocks, and even the bottom of the sea also covered with rocks. In the past, human beings used rocks and stones to make different objects like the tools and weapons. Forms of rocks. There are different types of rocks found in nature. For example, marble, limestone, and granite. Here you can see in this picture, this building is made up of the marble, this house is made up of limestone, and the bridge is made up of the granite. Metal ores. Metal ores are obtained from the rocks, such as the copper ore, iron ore, and the lead ore. You may see in this picture, the copper ore is present on the above surface of the rock, iron is ore also, and this lead ore. They are found on the above surface of the rocks. Man-made materials made from the rocks. Some materials made from the rocks. Here the glass is an example. In this picture you can see that the glass is made up of the sand, and sand comes from the rocks. Similarly, ceramics is another example. Ceramics are made from the clay, and clay comes from the rocks. Concrete is another example of the man-made material. Concrete is a mixture of the limestone, clay, gravel, and sand. You can see in this picture that the concrete is a mixture of the limestone, clay, gravel, and sand. Types of rocks. Rocks have different color, pattern, and texture. Here are the examples: granite, marble, slate, limestone, sandstone. You can see in this picture, here's a picture of the granite, marble, slate, limestone, and sandstone. Mineral grains. Rocks have different colors and textures, and they are made up of mixtures of mineral grains. Granite. Here is the picture of the granite. The large crystal grains of granite can be seen easily by the naked eye. Another example of the rocks mineral grains are slate. Here's a picture of the slate. The fine grains of the slate cannot be easily observed by the naked eye. Another example of the mineral grain is the sandstone. Sandstone is made up of different layers of the mineral grains. You can see in this picture, they are made up of different layers. And limestone is another example of the mineral grains. They may contain fossils, which are the preserved remains of the living things from the past. Now the characteristics of the rocks. Rocks have different properties like hardness and permeability. Now the hardness. Hardness is the ability to withdraw scratches. For example, the granite can scratch marble, but marble cannot scratch granite, which means that the granite is harder than the marble. Now the permeability. Permeability means the ability of water to pass through. There are different types of permeability: impermeable and permeable. Some rocks are impermeable, which means that water remains on the surface of the rocks and they do not allow the water to pass through. Here is an example. In this picture, you can see that the water remains on the surface of the rock. It means that the rocks do not allow the water to pass through them. Some other examples of the permeable rocks are those in which the water absorbs by the rock. In this picture, you can see that the rocks which can hold liquids and gases and allow to pass through them are called permeable rocks. And the rocks with the cracks or spaces between the mineral grains are usually more permeable. Now the precious stones. Some stones are colorful and attractive and they can be cut and polished to make the jewelry. These are called the precious stones, which may contain gemstones. You can see in this picture. And this ring contains a gemstone which is very attractive and it is used to make the jewelry. Some sapphires are also used in making jewelry. Rubies, here's a picture of the rubies. Emeralds, these are the emeralds. And the diamonds, which are very hard. All are made from the rocks or minerals. Semi-precious stones. Here are some examples of the semi-precious stones. Garnet, amethyst, topaz, tourmaline, aquamarine, peridot, opal, lapis lazuli, and turquoise. Now the soil. Rocks can be worn out over time by rain, wind, and frost. These withered rocks then breaks off into the tiny bits or particles, and these particles mix with the humus. Humus are the remains of the plants or animals, and they form soil. Types of soil. Soil have different colors, textures, and smells. They also have different permeability and particles of different sizes. There are different types of soil. Clayey soil, chalky soil, peaty soil, sandy soil, and loamy soil. Now the permeability and size of the soil particles. Like rocks, soil also have different sizes and permeability. The clayey soil, these are very fine in size and they do not allow water to pass through quickly and also do not contain a lot of air. The loamy soil is a mixture of the fine and the large particles. They allow water to pass through and contains a lot of air. The sandy soil consists of the large particles. They also allow water to pass through and also contains a lot of air. Now you have learned your chapter Rocks and Soil. Thank you, students.